Distraction. Arrow. Surprise. Battle. Pickaxe. Freedom. Or Halcom. Banditry. Intrigue. Family. Dwarves. Mining. Rejection. Redemption. Piston. Drongo. Fire. Unash. It's been a long time since anyone has asked me for additional background lore on a show. Basically, since the last time I ran a real serious D&D campaign, like Winter's Edge 2, I think was about it. Someone asked me, how is it that the song that James and Lauren's characters were singing could also have been the really sad song of dwarven sorrowiness? There is an answer to that question that's quite interesting, and I'm about to enlighten you on dwarves and how everything is about both sorrow and mountains. The first dwarven song we don't really talk about. The first dwarf, Doraemon Dwavi, did some singing, decided it wasn't for him, and invented instruments. And he liked that a lot better. So he and his 6 brothers made songs, but they promised themselves that
turn on the office light.
all songs would always connect together in some way. So the beginning or end of every dwarven piece of music is the same as the beginning or end of another piece of dwarven music. And if you think about it, in 3-dimensional space, the first song would have many songs that their beginnings would be the same as its end, and it would continue downward in a series of change, but occasionally someone would do a new song where the beginning of it was the end of the second song. And it creates a sort of 3-dimensional conical pyramid structure that ends up looking a lot like a mountain. And that is why dwarven songs are all interconnected. They all trace back to the beginning, just like dwarves trace all of their ancestors back to Dwarven and Dwavi, and all, dwarven suffering always rolls downhill. Things will always get worse, but look how good it used to be at the top.
Hopefully that means that no dwarven music just fades out at the end. It's such a lazy thing to just fade out at the end.
It doesn't fade out at the end.
Mic drop.
You all decided, I believe, that rather than taking a rest and getting on the ship you just signed on for, you were going to head back down into the depths of Mechanicsburg and partay, I think was the choice.
I believe that was the consensus.
Yes. I think that, some people want to spend their newfound wealth and other people wanted a long rest.
Yes.
You all tell me how you want to navigate this space. Just a reminder, it's like dark outside, middle of the night, and you are currently on the top of a flattened mountain where half broken and still on fire skyships are being worked on.
So do you guys want to stick together, or since we're air quotes safe in town, do you mind splitting up and everyone kind of resolving their own thing?
I would, as much as I would love to hang out with all of you guys, I've spent a lot of time with you over the last several weeks, and I'm going to go take a bath. So I'll see you all tomorrow morning.
I only need 4 hours to rest, so I have time to go explore. But I can explore on top of the mountain because I'm very curious about what all this Imperial stuff is about. So I'm just going to poke around and have a look and see. Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested in shopping for a book, and I'm hoping that maybe you can help me avoid any of those shysters that might be trying to feast me for my money in the merchants area below. That's figured up with.
Yeah. You're asking Godric, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
as a dwarf.
Yeah, I think Godric would be okay. He's got to hit a couple shops himself anyway.
Okay. Who do we want to follow first?
Godric.
Okay. The tales of Godric and Kithrix. the two of you take the next steam piston, which leaves quite shortly, back down. The only people going down are yourselves, Drongo Roundcask, the halfling purveyor of authentic dwarven recipes and also halfling delights. And that's it. Just the three of you. And I think maybe off in the distance, we also have a particularly surly tiefling who's going to go get a bath. But we're not following her story this time around. We're following the two of you.
I definitely like uncork one of the wine bottles that I had and, take a little taste tester.
It's not chilled. So, it's just day drinking wine. Well, I guess it's not the day, but you're just drinking wine without a glass, I would hesitate to say it's good. It exists. It exists. Is there anything the two of you want to do on your way down before you hit the main bazaar area?
No, I don't think there's anything that. I might passively chit chat with Drongo about different dwarven recipes and cooking methods, but nothing that we have to get like too deep into.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Drongo is a big purveyor of a somewhat controversial dwarven technique of submerging the cast iron directly in coals and then like covering his oven with coals on the top. That's simply not how it's done in the traditional ancient dwarven oven cooking way, which is to burn stuff really hot really quickly. You're just warming up vegetables essentially.
If it's good enough to heat my metal, it's good enough to heat my grilled cheese.
Yeah, the traditional dwarf. So as a fine chef, he likes a bit more subtlety to his flavor,
Gotcha.
a bit more cookedness. So he is licensed to cook the old ways way. He simply chooses not to do it in order to envelop the full flavor of the dish.
Okay.
James, what do you got?
I think I'm in that awkward spot where I've already fairly welled Drongo when we get off, and now I've come back on again a few minutes later. It's just sort of standing around kicking the dirt, not really starting up a conversation, having already ended a conversation.
I mean, Drongo still offers to let you sit at his
Wooden stool.
stump benches. Yeah. You just want some place to sit while the pistons are taking you down.
I think for the ride down, I'm curious about Sparky's interest in eating coins, so I'm going to see if he will eat a copper piece or a silver piece, or if it's exclusively limited to gold.
He will definitely eat both of those.
Okay, I will finish off with a gold piece. I'll mark off one of each coin because I'll give him a gold piece again. Because I feel like giving him a copper piece or a silver piece is like substandard food.
Sparky will grab the piece and drag it into your pocket.
Okay.
And sleep with it. They're taking a nap right now. You're not sure whether they're starting a horde, which is the thing you've heard dragons do, or maybe Sparky is like full. It's not clear without any sort of draconic rolls.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm in the market for a book on Draconic for Dummies.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not sure you've chosen the best place to look for that, given the ancient animosity between dragons and dwarves. But
you never know.
If there's someone who knows about their enemies, I guess it's the dwarves. They keep books of grudges. They're always grudging.
Yeah, I mean, if there is dragons and how to hate them books, that will probably help us with our current mission too.
Yeah, for sure.
How to hate a dragon 101.
I mean, we haven't talked about it. What do you think your current mission is? Not all of you have the same goal here. You have signed up to fight drakes and wyverns, but where are you going, Ithrix? Where are you going on a meta scale? What are you thinking about?
The only plan I had so far was to try and find these Sky Knights, and now I've found them. It's not like I have all the answers, so I guess sticking around to see what happens is probably
you had
the next
one
step.
Conversation with one Sky Knight.
Exactly. So, okay. But that's the thing is like we've signed up to go along with them for now, so maybe I can learn more as we go.
Okay.
And I've already learned a lot more just by Quinaria casting comprehend languages and then what the Sky Knights have said. So if I just stick with the current plan, this seems to be paying out. So
Interesting. You make it to the bottom of the piston elevator. It seems like they normally would shut this down for the night. You know what I mean? Like you hear somebody saying, like, let the head off the steam in Dwarvish. And somebody else is like, no, 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 no. And like carpenters and people with like sheet metal start flooding the elevator. And when you came up, it was basically totally full and it's filling up very quickly now. The head engineer appears to be arguing with, the head of the laborers. That's none of your business. You step back out. It is, I wouldn't call it a nightlife because you can't see the sky from in here, but there is a thrumming bazaar eating outside where you can be seen publicly. This place is a vast open interior space. In order to get color going, there's lots of lighting, and the lighting is also colored. Torches that spark green, blue, and purple are all very popular, especially at eating locations, but cart bazaars, stores, cottage industries, which for the, it's like a place of work that's also built out of your home. All those places are still open, even though it's getting kind of late. Business is booming. You're looking for a bookshop or maybe a library?
Yeah, there's a bookshop, right? Because with a library, I think it's presumed the book will come back at some point. And
bookshop. I'm going to buy a book. Yeah, looking for self-help places.
I don't think this culture has evolved to the self-help level yet. Make a perception check.
1940s dwarves.
Well, find a take a book, leave a book. 15.
Okay. There are several bookstores, but you navigate to one that's got what you want. You're looking for one that's offering specialty goods in terms of like books of strategy, books of knowledge about monsters, books about adventures and heroism and things like that. And you find such a shop. It's called Finsert's Adventurous Goods. When you enter, a human man, kind of portly, with a ragged beard, dark hair, dark eyes, heaves himself up from behind the counter and goes, oh, dear me. He adjusts his tiny, tiny little glasses and says, the name's Sel. Well, it's quite late for someone to come in here. You're looking for maps, perhaps? Or he's trying to get a gauge on, like, a dwarf with a metal pickaxe and a halfling with a dragon.
I'm looking for books about how to speak dragon.
Oh, yes. I happen to have such a tome indeed. I assume that you are not like a half-dragon or a draconic sorcerer of some kind, or born underneath a draconic star, dragon-blessed, dragon-blooded, half-dragon, dragon-cursed?
You can assume whatever you like.
No, I'm just checking to make sure what status level you have. Though, if you're not one of those, it will take you, some time, like most of a year, in order to learn Draconic, and I wanted to make sure I have the correct tome for what I would... If you are one of those, you're a beginner.
Yes, novice level.
Okay.
At least I have a subject to practice on.
Yes, he comes over and he inspects, the tiny dragon, and he hisses at it. Popping back out. The two of them begin having a conversation. It's like parcel tongue.
Parcel tongue, yeah, I was going to say.
He's like nodding. Yes, I know the tome that you'll be looking for. It is quite heavy. It is involved. The Draconic language, of course, has notably named everything that has ever existed. So, you know, it's a lot of words, and it doesn't have an alphabet.
Are you saying I'm stupid?
I'm not saying you're stupid.
It just sounds like you're trying to talk me out of buying this book.
I would never try to talk you. I'm warning you that the book is heavy because it is quite large. I want you to be fully prepared for when I bring this bad boy out here.
Okay. All right, I think I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. He says, wait there. And then he like waddles into the back of the shop. The two of you are left there for a few minutes in case there's anything you wanted to do. Maybe peruse around inserts.
I'm mainly looking for like cooking provisions, stuff that'll keep for a while.
There is an adventuring goods shop. So you're not going to find cooking provisions. You will find
Like pre-prepared
spices,
stuff.
salt, and jerky.
Okay.
Tons and tons of jerky.
Okay. I think those are things that Godric's going to start perusing and try to like picking and choosing stuff he wants to take with him.
The prices on the salt are surprisingly good. You haven't seen salt price like this in quite a while on your travels.
I'd assume they're pulling it up from the mine.
Yeah. The jerky's a little gamey. You're not you don't know what they hunted to get this jerky. It might be a little bit old. Normally a bag of salt's going to cost you about 5 copper pieces. He's offering it for 3.
Okay.
And he's got a lot. So there's like a display of bags, right? And then there's like a sign that says, you know, like if you need bulk goods, speak to Finserts.
Okay. I think getting like the bag of salt and then like a collection of just generic spices, stuff that I can cook with, but not like anything too extravagant. Like I don't need like the like I don't know the like Arabian sea salts or whatever.
Like saffron. You're not looking for saffron. What about cinnamon, pepper?
Yeah, things like cinnamon, pepper.
Are you looking for ounces or pounds? Like a full-on bag?
I'd say probably more like ounces, like something that I can use to cook maybe 2 or 3 good meals.
Okay. Yeah, there's like a pre-made spice kit of like vials of, you know, like here's a vial of cinnamon, here's a vial of pepper, here's a vial of salt, here's a vial of crushed red pepper, that sort of thing that you can get as like a adventurer's, you know, kitchen away from kitchens.
Yeah, exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah, so all said, that would be 2 gold pieces for each one you want to bring home.
For each spice?
No, for each collection of like single-use spice packs.
Okay.
So it's like 16 different spices, you know, like allspice, nutmeg, cinnamon, that sort of deal.
Old Spice.
Okay. Old Spice.
No. We can't do that. Not on this show. We can't do that on this show.
Have you experienced the phenomena of deconstructed food in your own countries?
Yes.
Yeah, at Christmas time, I was given a hamper with deconstructed salt that was basically just a lump of rock salt and a grinder.
Blasphemy.
How many of these spice kits and bags of salt do you want to buy?
1 bag of salt and then maybe, let's say 3 or 4 of the spice kits.
Okay. So you're looking at 3 copper pieces and 8 gold pieces.
Okay.
He comes back with a heaping tome that looks like it's one of those books that's, you know, like War and Peace, or if you collected all of the Game of Thrones novels into one hardcover. The spine of it is not doing well when he brings this book back. it is definitively actually made with dwarf skin leather for sure. As he brings it back and I mean, this book's got to be like 40 pounds on its own. It just, takes a look at it, like shines the buckle that holds it closed real quick. Yes, yes, well, here it is, the Tome Draconica, beginner's edition.
I admit, I did think there was a touch of hyperbole in your tone before, but maybe I was wrong.
Again, there is no alphabet in Draconic, so every word has to be learned individually.
Okay, it's not available in like editions, like volumes.
Okay, hold here. He picks it up, heads to the back. You've got another few minutes here. If there's anything else you want to grab.
I'm going to look at Kithrix and be like, when he comes back, I'm going to ask him to bring the first book out again.
Don't be rude.
Yes, messing with shopkeepers, always a good plan.
I just want to know where this guy gets the gall to have a dwarf skin book in a dwarven.
You think he made that book?
I don't think he made it, but I think he.
Who do you think writes books about how to learn Draconic? Do you think maybe it's dragons?
It's the elves.
But do you think keeping a book like that around, like the dwarves, just saying, holding on to it doesn't seem like a good idea.
He comes back out with something closer to a travelogue that in 3 languages, one of which is common, reads all the basics you need to make your way through Draconic lands. And it lists like basic words that you might learn, like I shall bow. I surrender. Everyone run. Phrases that you need in order to learn the basics of Draconic.
Donde está la biblioteca?
Not in this book, surprisingly. Most people don't ask dragons to go to their libraries because the libraries are filled with dwarf skin leather books.
All right. This looks like what I was after.
All right. He will charge you 1 gold piece for this book.
All right.
I just tell him to add it to my tab and I'll pay for the book.
Okay. So that's 9 gold pieces and 3 copper.
Yep.
So if we are leaving this bookshop, I do plan to spend about 5 gold on just bric-a-brac in the market, like unimportant stuff, things I can stick in my pockets, in my bag, things I can give to Sparky. But I do just go on a little commercial spree buying
of course,
a bunch
dwarves
of
would love to sell you that stuff.
That's it. And I'll make sure I repay the 1 gold by giving miscellaneous crap to Godric as well. Like, oh look, I bought this rhubarb which looks a bit like you.
What they're really selling, what's popular here right now, are like scarves that can also be used as face coverings in the mine. But they're shaped like human knight helmets. So it's like something you would wear on your head, and then the part is like on a pivot, and you can bring it down to cover your face to keep your face warm, but also keep dust out of your face. Those things are selling like hotcakes around here. People are just like, oh, you should try mine. And then someone's like, no, get a pink one. It's better. And somebody else is just like, mine includes some fine detailing. If you look right here, you can see the slots. And somebody else is just like, mine's just plain. I'm charging like 20% less than everybody else. If you're looking for,
I'll try buying a pair of like non-optical correcting spectacles, just like affectation spectacles to give to Godric. So if he wants to go incognito, just puts on the glasses, and the dwarves won't recognize him and won't.
That will not work for him. But he does look good in glasses.
Okay, I tell Kiefer because I appreciate it, and then say I still need to find an alchemist.
There are dwarven alchemists, but what you told me before the show is you wanted a human alchemist from the Empire, and there are none here. If you're looking for a dwarven alchemist, you can definitely find several at the local guild.
Or the shop we're in, does this guy buy
self-inserts?
Yeah.
He will buy the orichalcum from you. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna ask
You're
him how
just
much
placing
he'll-
fat nuggets on this. He just looks at it and he goes,
I'm gonna show him one and just ask how much I can get for it, or what it'll give me for it.
you know, normally I'd say that you'd want to sell this at the Alchemist Guild, but they're closing up already. So I can, you know, resell it for you for a small fee, small percentage from myself. Yeah, just give me a moment here while I see how good I am at this particular task. I am completely average in every way at analyzing this. You know what? I'll take this off of your hands for 490 gold pieces.
So he's going to pay me 490 gold pieces for
Yes. Yep.
it? Okay. When he says that, I'm going to pull the second one out and put that out in front of him and say, how about that one too?
Yes, I would offer a similar price. Do you want to be paid in banknote, Imperium script, or that's a lot of gold pieces? I've got some Electrum in the back. Maybe some Platinum? Electrum?
Yeah, I'd say let's see, because Electrum is less than
Electrum
gold,
is
right?
5, but you know, it's, you know, like nobody uses
Yeah,
it.
Yeah,
no one uses
five
Electrum.
gold to one.
Yeah.
He sees that you're wavering on this. He says, what about some gems? Can I sell you on jewelry? That maintains its price no matter where you go.
I would probably tell him I want the money. I need cash. Like,
Okay. All right.
So
Well, you can't blame me for trying. All
but
right.
then ask him if he has like he sells adventuring goods. Does he have like a bag of holding or something?
He does not have a bag.
Okay.
He has bags and sacks, but he does not have a bag of holding.
Okay.
He doesn't sell like magical adventuring gear.
Gotcha.
Not at Finsert's.
All right. Yeah, I just take the money.
So you're looking at 980 coins. He hands you a sack that weighs 20 pounds. That's filled with almost 1,000 gold coins that move and rattle quite noisily.
Gotcha.
It takes him a few minutes to, you know, sort
robbed.
that.
I'm gonna also buy a blanket from him, and I'm gonna wrap the coins in a blanket and stuff that in a
Good
in my
move.
bag.
Are you looking for like a blanket? Or do you want one of his Finsert's adventurous goods, like themed blankets?
Whatever
Or like
is
map of the
thickest,
world
wooliest
blanket?
No. Just whatever is like the thickest, wooliest blanket he has.
Okay, like a regular just blanket. Okay,
Yes.
He'll give you that for 1 gold coin. You know what? He'll give it to you gratis.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna shove all that in my bag, wrapped in the blanket.
Well, you need anything else? Barrels, baskets, backpacks, flasks, jugs, pitchers, pouches, chests. Chests are very popular. I know some hirelings, just in case you're looking for someone to carry your stuff.
I'm gonna turn to Kithrix and ask if there's anything else Kithrix needs.
No, I'm good.
Cartography tools, dice set, dragon chests.
If Sparky's still sticking his head out, I'll ask Sparky if there's anything Sparky needs.
I mean, you and Sparky don't share a common language.
I mean, I'm just going through the motions.
Sparky hisses at you. Finsert goes, oh, yeah, I agree.
What'd he say?
I'm like looking through the book furiously, trying to like, you know, trying to tour his phrase what he just said.
He says, oh, right, of course, you're learning Draconic. Yeah, Sparky would like a crown, and, you know, this seems like a good idea for a dragon to have their own custom crown. I don't do that kind of work, but, you know.
Can you ask him if a hat would suffice? Do you want a hat?
You know, I'm gonna skip on asking the dragon if a hat will suffice for a crown. Good customer. I'll just I like my shop non-dragonated.
Fair enough. I think that's all I really needed to do. I think.
Indeed.
Before you go, I know this is a long shot. Is there any chance that you'd like to buy a rowboat? Okay. You have a good night.
If we find someone that does want to buy a rowboat, we'll definitely send them your way. I'm assuming you have a rowboat to sell. That wasn't just a strange question.
I have a rowboat to sell. How it came into my hands is a long story, given that this is a landlocked mountain.
Right. Well, I don't think we have any use for a rowboat in our, hopefully in our immediate future.
You know, sometimes people are just, you never know when you might need a rowboat. But all right.
All right. Well, thank you. Was it Cell or Finsert?
Name self-insert.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Self-insert. Nice.
Yes.
I was wondering if anyone would notice it before you said his full name.
Early on, yeah.
I definitely did not.
Okay.
right.
Quineria, what's happening with you? You just looking for a place to spend the night, or
Not yet. No.
Not yet? No.
I only need 4 hours to meditate and rest. I've got time. I'm very curious about burning skyships that have been crashing back down into the.
So one of them is fully still on fire.
Mm-hmm.
The ship that you have signed on with appears to be much, much larger than the other two.
Mm-hmm.
You have yet to see what the name on the side of the ship is. The third ship is about the size you think of the burning one. It is badly damaged, but not on fire. The side of it says the William T. The ship appears to be named after someone. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to get it to fly anytime soon. Just before you make any roll, the general chatter from the crew appears to be some of the people who served on the William T are sad to see it go. They're going to leave it here with some carpenters to get it repaired for when they come back, and they will be serving on the biggin, is what they call
The biggin.
the biggin. That doesn't, you don't think that's the ship's name? That's just what they're calling it.
But I like that. The biggin.
You don't think anyone was still on the burning ship because you saw it being towed back, hanging downwardly. So anyone that was in it is definitely dead.
Ooh. Well, is there anyone who's like a supervisor?
There are several supervisors here. They're all, busy. You think maybe if you were charming enough, you might be able to lure one away. I mean, just to be clear, it's like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and these people are already like, either people are putting out cots and like windshields and tents to like sleep up here on the top of the mountain, or they're going to work, loading supplies, unloading stuff. They're disassembling the first burning ship to like combine it with the William T.
I'm just standing next to the supervisor, and I have my notebook, and I'm making some notes, maybe doing a little drawing. And I'm just trying to eavesdrop, listen in, see what I can overhear from the shouts and the commands.
Make a perception check.
Probably my worst skill.
That's a bad move in Dungeons and Dragons for perception to be your worst skill. It's the one skill you're guaranteed to roll quite often.
I get a decent bonus on it.
Yeah, well, 19 ain't bad.
Yeah.
I would also like you to make a stealth check.
Oh,
see how unobtrusive you are, because you have indicated
right behind him.
Yeah, you're basically like standing right next to him.
Oh, I failed. I go right in.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
She's literally right behind them.
Yeah, I go to turn around and bump right into me or something. Oops.
So I'm not going to do full conversations. I'm going to give you excerpts from the gossip.
Okay.
You hear one sailor turn to another and say, "Biddlesbach will be hanging by tomorrow." And the second one goes, Nah. captain's gonna have him in the brig. First one goes, and for what he did, we should be dragging him along the keel. Something else you hear, the supervisor is talking to someone and says, Mr. Harding, are you aware that that particular piece of equipment you are working with is worth 25,000 gold pieces? We are the Imperial Sky Knights. We are not the Sailor Corps, and that is not the appropriate way to operate a fractioner. If you please, get your hands off of it immediately. And if I have to report this to the chief engineer, you will be doing double time in the undermasts. You see someone just walking around, just going, Carpenter, carpenter, anyone here have carpentry experience? The supervisor goes, you're not here. You went down the elevator.
I know.
Listen, this is the one place in this place where you could have made a ton of money contracting tonight, and you wanted to take a bath.
I ain't trying to work right now.
The supervisor's just like, Dennings, if I have to tell you one more time, obviously no one else here is a carpenter. Everyone is spoken for. Get back to work, or I'm going to be using you for carpentry. Two sailors are like exchanging money. One of them is going to be staying behind here and working on the William T. And the second sailor is like leaving his money with him so that he thinks he's gonna die. And he's basically like, if I don't come back, Hastings, I need you to give this to my wife. And the first sailor just goes, this script, no one's gonna use this, mate. Like, I know this is all the rage in the capital, but this is worthless. You should have just kept the gold coin. I'll send it to your wife, but someone's probably gonna use it for toilet paper on the trip there. You made a bad decision, just accept it. At that point, you're like smugly like writing things down, and then you hear someone go, excuse me, miss. Why are you standing directly behind me writing in your book?
Oh.
Should I assume that you are engaged in an act of espionage?
No, Archivist Leafwind. Always making notes. These will be part of the tale one day. We want to make sure we get the details correct for the glory of the Sky Knights.
A bard. My days are filled with everlasting joy.
Mm-hmm. I can just take my leave if you wish. That'd be fine.
I'm gonna have to ask you for your notebook.
All right.
Okay. Just gonna make an insight check to see if you can figure out if you have a secret code. Okay. He shuts the book after a few minutes of perusal and says, well, your notes are in very good format. You do not appear to be engaged in espionage. It's just annoying for you to stand directly behind me.
Why, humble apologies. I will definitely move on to my post now. Mm-hmm.
And do you work for us?
I do now, as of the last, I don't know, half an hour.
You are not in uniform.
No one gave me a uniform. I said it's only been half an hour.
Okay, so he's just like, it would be exceedingly rude for me to put hands on you, but might I take your hand and take you to the captain so I can sort all of this out? Because I don't know who you are.
Oh, Gwyneria Leafwind, it's wonderful to meet you.
He like
Yes, let's
holds
go.
a hand out to escort you.
Yes.
Okay. It's gentlemanly, but also forceful. Like he's like, I don't know who this weird person is walking around these military docks and taking notes, but you know. The captain sees this officer approaching and says, Lieutenant, please take a hand off of our new Hunters Guild auxiliary. And he goes, of course, Captain, I just came over to clarify the situation. She's like, well, the situation is clarified, Lieutenant. Get back to work. You are left in front of the captain, who takes her hat off and puts it under her arm and says, "You know, I apologize. Blessed of the Canaan Star. I have not fully disseminated information. My crew priorities here are of the utmost in getting the ship back up in the sky. I'm afraid our military discipline is a bit lax. Things are more comical and loose than I would prefer. I hope that you are not offensed by my man."
Oh, not at all, not at all, not at all. Everything is just wonderful. Although, I mean, the situation is not. Is there any way that I can help? I knew a few things to ease the pains and troubles of people.
What skills do you have?
Well, I definitely know how to sing and play instruments, and a few little incantations that ease the pain and suffering of the injured.
Are you a carpenter?
I am not a carpenter. No.
Are you a sailor?
No, I have never been on a sky ship before.
Do you have any skills with a rope?
Not particularly, no.
Do you know prestidigitation?
No. Minor illusions, that's about it.
She stares at you for a long moment and then says, "All right, good enough. My men are tired. Some of them are too tired to sleep. I'm sure you are aware of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Over there," and she gestures basically towards the edge of a cliff, the far edge where the wind is mostly being broken by people, where tents are being set up. If you can quietly put on a performance to alleviate the stress of their duties and the events of the past few days, I would appreciate it.
Well, I can definitely. There's a particularly gentle song which aids rest, something that my mother would sing to me when I was restless and refused to meditate. Always worked. So I will try that, and I'm sure I will give them some comfort and rest, and that will help them be on their feet and able to rejoin the effort come the dawn.
Miss Corneria,
Yes.
you may be more succinct and brief when speaking to me in the future.
Oh, my apologies.
I do not wish to seem rude, but I do have other duties to attend to. As do you.
I shall attend to them.
May the stars light
Try
your way.
I try to do some sort of
Don't do
salute
that.
I made it.
Please don't do that. It's embarrassing, both of us.
And off
Again,
I
I
go.
have nothing but respect for you, but she puts her hat back on. Puts her hat back on and goes back to doing this. I would like you to make a performance check, but if you want to describe what performance you're putting on first, I will also
I
accept
am
that.
using the song of rest.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah. If you are any friendly creature who can hear your performance, regain hit points at the end of a short rest by spending one or more hit dice, each of those creatures gains an extra 1d6 hit points. So I'm
It's really good.
going to perform the song of rest.
How loud are you making it? Are you
Oh,
making
not
it?
that loud.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say this could be.
Around. I will move around as I perform the song.
I will accept that.
So that I'm kind of whispering and, gently allowing
In my mind, this is the Jigglypuff song from Pokemon. But
Totally.
So, performance check.
yes, please do.
Oh, only a 9. Dice are not my friends today.
Still restful. Anyone who hears it will fall underneath the ensorcelment of this song and find themselves heartier and haler than they were before.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't hear half of it. It's nothing to do with your performance. You're on top of a windy mountain while there are carpentry operations going on and people shouting. Even if they could hear you, this is not a restful situation to begin with.
Are there any particular?
No, go ahead.
Are there any particularly badly injured people?
There are several people who have either fire burns or a sort of acidic burn.
Ooh. Acidic burns. That doesn't sound too good. We've seen that already. We know how that goes. I was just, I still have a few
You want to
spell
blow your
slots
healing
left.
spells?
Yeah, I can do 3 healing words, so I would just offer them.
When it becomes clear that you are a spellcaster of some sort, your estimate, people have mostly been ignoring you because, they're busy and people are doing things, important things for the security of these ships. When it becomes clear that you're a spellcaster, the estimation in the local area around you rapidly rises. Even if you are not a uniform member of the Imperial Sky Knights, the fact that you can use healing magic, especially on people who are grievously injured, makes you somewhat more important and worthy of respectful treatment. You no longer have to brush past people while performing. You have to be like, okay, come on, I need you to move. I got to get through here. Tanira,
Yes.
you head downstairs, getting a bath, maybe staying at a local inn or something.
Yeah, pretty much.
How well fed and fancy are you thinking about here?
Not fancy at all.
Not fancy at all.
No.
I mean, would you be embarrassed to be seen in this place?
No. Which place?
Let me ask another question. You and I both know that you used to be a pretty hardcore criminal.
Yeah.
Would you stay at a place that had essentially criminal markings on the outside of it in its stonework? Things that would indicate that criminal acts are okay here, insofar as fencing.
Probably not.
Okay, so you see a place with marks above it that say innkeeper fences, 25%. No robbery of patrons. You're not going to that place.
Something reputable, just not super elaborate.
You wind up outside of something that's halfway between a house built out of stone, because of course it is built into the side of a mountain on the inside, and a hobbit hole. It's a little short, it's a little uncomfortable, it's a little warm and a little moist, but for 1 silver piece you can get a private bath with warm water and a bed that's a little bit too small for you, and clean sheets.
Perfect.
So the innkeeper just sees you walk in, just doesn't bother haggling or negotiating with you, just says, silver piece.
And I place it on the table.
All right, he places a key there and says, 3rd room on the left.
Appreciate it.
You want anything to drink in the morning? Cold water, wine?
Water will be fine. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
And you as well. You wouldn't happen to know about any orphanages in the area, would you?
There are some of the early colonists who died and left the children behind. I do know of such an orphanage.
You wouldn't happen to know the name?
Not only do I know the name, if you come back out the entrance, I'll point it out to you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So the 2 of you head back outside. Lights are starting to dim. It's getting a little late here in the, they don't ever go fully out, but they bring the light down so anybody that has a porthole, an open door, or a window isn't oh my gosh, it's so bright in here. He points out to a place. It is close to the entrance where you originally came in. Is not particularly fancy or good looking home, but it does appear that multiple tiers are all interconnected into a series of, the youngest kids are on the bottom, and then each tier of older kids. It's the best way that they can figure out how to keep the kids divided so that enough of them can stay in each room, that each room isn't too crowded.
Right. Is there anybody outside or
I mean, there are some older kids that are shuffling the younger ones inside,
Mhm.
and then someone who looks to be watching over the local area, like making sure nobody goes over to the orphanage without them noticing. It's a taller dwarven man. He's like 5'2", just like looking around, making sure no one's messing with the kids or anything. Occasionally, like looks at one of the littler kids and is just like, "Hey, now it's time for your." Of course, you can't understand him because he's
Right.
huge distance away from you and speaking Dwarvish, but we're all audience members, so we see this. He's like, "Hey, you, come on now. You're hassling everybody. You got to get inside. You got to get to bed so you can wake up and do good work tomorrow. Okay, let's do it, guys. All right." Just like pointing at the older kids. It's like, let's get it. Come on.
Excuse me. Would you happen to know where the headmistress is?
I'm not married, so there's no headmistress.
Who's in charge of the orphanage?
Me.
Uh,
I guess. Wouldn't say anyone's in charge. Takes a community to run.
I have a gift for you. I don't know how to go about doing this, but I would like to donate to your establishment if that's all right with you.
Turnips.
More shiny, some gold pieces.
You want to donate gold pieces to us? Yeah, I'm not going to say no to that.
Perfect. Here, and I just take out 20 gold pieces.
All right, this is considerably more than he was expecting. He's just like, listen, you have something you need to confess? People don't throw this kind of money at orphanages that have clear I am an ordained cleric if you have something you need to confess.
No, this is just for the children. I'd rather spend it here than anywhere else.
Okay.
And
all right.
I have no use for it.
Forge Father blesses you.
And with you.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I serve him, so I know he blesses me.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. This is kind of awkward, but I'm deeply appreciative. And like, you can see he's trying to hold back tears, manly tears.
One drips out and he sucks it back.
He's like looking at the bag and then like looking at the kids and
just make sure it's put to good use.
Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna have to take a little while to figure out what that's gonna be, but it'll definitely go to some use. This ain't nothing.
Well, I appreciate you and I appreciate your time. Farewell.
I didn't catch your name.
Tanira.
Thank you, Tanira.
You're most welcome.
Sorry, where are you staying?
I haven't figured that out yet.
Okay. All right.
Goodbye now.
All right, this is awkward.
Yeah, I'd turn her and leave.
All right. He like picks one child that keeps climbing out of, it's like a 3-year-old that keeps climbing out of the first floor window to go back to playing in the street. He just snatches the kid up and is just like, all right, we're closing the window now. You're going back. It's 9 o'clock, kid.
And I'll probably just go back to the place I was staying at.
Okay.
Turn in for the night.
Yep. You don't know how to read Dwarven, so you have no idea what place you're staying at. We're gonna take a break here. We're gonna go like 5 minutes, do the ads so that people watching live get that good stuff. Sorry, Godric, you're getting cook utensils?
Yes.
You can just get those for PHB prices.
Okay. I think that's 1 gold.
Okay, amazing. And we'll be back soon, guys.